Okay. I am here with Harriet Powers of Coplin Plantation at her farm on the Kennebago Road. And I thank you for letting me come in and pester you this morning. We're doing this new column in the Irregular called Mountain Gold, as you know, and I'm having a ball talking to some of our greatest generation. So I thank you for letting me come and do this. Just to let folks know, we are kind of related. I'm married to your nephew. My mother-in-law is your sister. So I do know you a little bit. So Harriet, I want to start out. You are how old?
85.
Born in 1933. 33. Wonderful. So that was in the middle of the Depression. And you've lived where? Right here? All of your life?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yes.
You
yes.
grew up in this house?
Yes.
Yeah. So how did your parents acquire the farm? Did they buy it, or was it in their family before?
I think they bought it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Before you were born?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Long before I was born.
So how many kids in your family?
In my...
You are one of...
8.
Eight girls and one boy, right?
Right?
Yes, I think so, based on what I've got here.
Yeah.
I have here Thelma, Earl, Eldora, Irma, Phyllis, Blanche, Celia, Harriet, Roberta, and then there was a Bertha that your parents lost when she was a baby. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge family.
Yes.
A lot of activity in this house.
I guess so.
When you think of your parents, what's one of your favorite memories?
I think maybe their 50th anniversary. When they had their anniversary, they had it here. And we all gathered for the day. And when Basil and I was married 50 years, we had our anniversary here.
Nice. Wonderful. So your parents were married more than 50 years before?
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Big crowd here for their 50th?
I don't really recall the party, the whole thing. I had pictures of them taken. We had at the time, we had dining room in there, and we had a table set up, and we had a rainbow in back of it, and the bean pot for their money.
Right. Oh, nice.
They had, at the time, Brad Crafts was living, and he took a lot of pictures. He was here. But as far as the whole celebration goes, I don't remember.
You were probably busy working,
well,
doing
yes.
a lot of
and
the catering.
At the time, we weren't actually living here with at the time we were living down the road, but we were all in attendance. The whole family was here. Yeah.
Right. Of your father and wondering if there was one special thing that you had with him that was just something you two like to do, like fish or play checkers or...
Not really. My father worked out. He was a lumberman, you know. And, of course, at the time, we had animals here. We had milking cows. We had beef cattle and stuff. But never, things weren't... I don't remember that we ever, played...
Hard-working family.
Yes, yeah. When it came nighttime, you were ready for bed.
Right. So, growing up, did you have a farm at that time? There were animals here, so you tended to the farm animals and...
Yeah, I was mostly in the house. I never milked a cow till after Basil and I were married. We had one of our own down when we lived down there at the bunkhouse. But because people asked me how I learned to cook, did I go to cooking school? But not really. Trial and error, And the rest of the girls were mostly outdoor, They worked out on the, helping with the milking and cows.
Right. So you're next to the youngest in your family. Did you help your mother a lot with cooking?
I don't really remember that either.
Yeah.
You know, working actually. I would watch her, you know, but I don't ever, you know. I remember I worked out in the gardens, you know, and so on, so forth, weeding and so on and so forth. But
a lot of weeding to those gardens.
Oh, I tell people, you know, my father used to say, you know, if we wanted to go to the movies in Rangeley, you know, you had to get the weeding done or put the wood in to go to Skowhegan fairs, you know, things like that.
Yes.
Get it in the cellar.
That's right. Reward system that works.
Yeah.
I think most families probably did that. Now this is garden area that we're looking out front here. Do you do you grow vegetables there?
I've got $200 worth of seed to put in the ground.
Wow. Okay. So you're still actively gardening.
Yes.
And you enjoy it?
Oh yeah. It's just like, you know, when I'm working out, you know, at Aquasic and I come home at night, just an hour in the garden's just like having a drink.
I agree.
Yeah.
Putting your hands in that soil.
Yeah. I'm anxious to do it, but I never plant till after Memorial Day anyway. You know, our season isn't very long, you know, and you have to, you know, I don't know, you put it in the ground. If it comes, hopefully you have a good October, you know, September, October.
What do you like best to grow? Are you a tomato person, corn? What's your favorite?
I love sunflowers. Can I?
Me too. Yes, get up, move around. Like I said, we can cut anything out of this that we need to.
I have a guy that comes around. I don't know if you know him, 27 North. You know him?
I don't think I do.
I'll get it out there. But he took these pictures last year. So
those
as you can
beautiful.
see,
I'm gonna hold this up and see if it's.
That's on the road, looking back towards the house.
That's beautiful.
And he took it last year after we got the barn done.
Sunflowers are my favorite flower.
Yeah.
And then glads.
Yeah.
I like gladioli too.
I don't grow glads. I grow a lot of other flowers, but I don't, you know, I don't grow glads.
Do you save the seeds for birds?
Not well. The sunflowers, yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We try to. Yeah. We either, when we get ready to cut them, we either put them in the barn, hang them up. You know, if the bluebirds or the blue jays get at them or whatever. But the chipmunks love them too. You know, sometimes I'll just put the head out on the rock and they'll pick it. You know, but
you did that one year. I harvested about, I don't know, 70 huge sunflower heads and dried them and then took all the seeds out and I tried planting a lot of the seeds the next year and I didn't have a lot of luck, which made me wonder if they were hybrid you know, and designed not to propagate. A lot of the seeds we get now aren't heirloom.
Right.
For us.
Right.
But do you pickle?
Not a lot. Usually I did last year some of my beet pickles. I've got a couple of guys that love the beet pickles. And I do a little bit of cucumbers. Basil couldn't eat fresh cukes. He'd make, you know, he wouldn't eat them, but he'd eat the pickles. And I used to make. I do make a relish. And I'll give you a jar of it.
Wonderful.
It's a hot dog relish, but we used to have kids that come here, and whenever this is the bestest relish, and that's what they call it. You know? That's
and
the
name of it.
That's tomatoes and, let me see, it's tomatoes, green peppers, and cabbage, onions, green peppers. And I just use it in I grind it up my old meat grinder, one of them old meat grinders.
I bet Stephen will be all over that.
Does he like it?
Yeah. He does.
And
definitely.
I do make a pickle, a cucumber pickle. I try to use the small cukes, and you just slice them up in onions and put them in overnight with salt and water. And then the next day, I think it's sugar and vinegar, and then you freeze them. You keep them in the freezer, and I keep them just in little tiny plastic. And that's about what I do with them.
Wow.
And then when Lee comes, if he has peaches, he brings in September. I can those or freeze them.
Yeah.
And Blueberries, I try to pick. In fact, the blueberries I have in the muffins this morning was some we had last year.
Do you grow? Do you have blueberry bushes here?
Lee does out back.
Nice.
That's his garden.
Yeah.
They're high bush.
Yeah.
But usually we go up above and pick the blueberries when there was we used to go up there and get them, and then Brochu's girl, Nicole, and they're the ones that have the bison up there. And so she either called Linda or whatever and said, I know you girls always come up here to get blueberries, and you're welcome to come up this year and do it if you want to. So for 2 years we picked up there, but actually we picked across the driveway, which I don't think is her land.
Right.
But we pick on it and enjoy them,
Yeah.
Sometimes they're good. I mean, I think every other year, you get good ones.
We used to go up to Jim Eaton Hill blueberry picking when I was a kid, and it wasn't closed off. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
A beautiful place to pick. If you're going to be made to pick blueberries out in the hot sun, bent over, that's a beautiful place to do it.
It's awful because of those places like that. And Grand Falls, Jeannie talks about, they used to go in there snowmobile, and now she and Jared go in there once in a while. And I guess it's gated off now, Grand Falls. But she said, I've never been in there.
Yeah. Oh, you should.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
I haven't been since I was probably 16 or 17, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, talking about your parents and a big family, you all attended school in Stratton? Or there wasn't a Coplin?
Yes, there is.
Where the town office is now? That wasn't it?
No. When you go back on the main road, the little one-room schoolhouse on the left there, did you see it? Coplin Schoolhouse?
I know where that is.
Yeah.
So you...
We went there. I went there until I was in the... I believe it was the 7th grade. They closed that school, I believe it was in 1949 when it was closed, because they figured to hire a teacher it would cost more than it would to train. And there was only 4 of us left that was going to school there. It was Celia and I and Roberta and Marcel, I think, was the last ones.
Those were the only kids in Coplin left anymore.
That went to school there. For 4 kids, they figured it would cost more, and that was when we went to Stratton School.
Okay. And then you graduated from Stratton.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
That schoolhouse, I'd like to get more publicity on that, but it's in the Historical Society. But it's just Linda and I, know. There are other people that probably would come forward, but they'd like to have the schoolhouse open, and it's in its original state.
That's
really
wonderful.
We've had it's the pebble metal on the ceiling and on the walls part way down, and then it's the kind of like wainscoting.
I don't think I've ever been in.
No.
I'm sure Stephen has. I think he went to some kind of opening.
I've got Stephen on the board there for. You have to send in every year to the state, and it's $35 to send in. I don't know, what do they call it? Registration or something for the historical side. And I've always taken it out. We've got an account, and I'd like to have it repainted this summer. There's a guy that lives down the road here on the road. Linda said he works with AJ in town, and I thought maybe I can contact him. We just don't have time to do it.
Right. When you're in a community with not many people, that manpower is or woman power is a hard thing to come by.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this off for just a second so we don't miss a lot of stuff. And like I said, I cut out the little, where I'm going, oops, I need to do this now. Learning how to edit film, that's fun all by itself. I'm hoping once I've done it for a while, it doesn't take me 3 days. It takes me 20 minutes instead.
And you have a computer.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I've been told by those who know that it is not sufficient for video editing. Everybody wants me to get a Mac. But those are a lot of money, and I'm cheap.
I don't have one. People ask me, "Do you have email?" No, don't have email. No.
And you're doing just fine, aren't you?
I don't have an answer machine. I don't have a credit card. I don't have a debit card. Don't have a checkbook.
And you are just fine. Oh, this is such a pretty place. Is there a place on this farm that was your favorite growing up? is there a place on the farm that has the best memories? The barn, a brook?
Yeah, the brook. There's a brook that runs down and back here,
There is.
and we used to have a path to it from here, and we probably do now if you wanted to stumble through
Right.
it. But I did like the brook, you
Yeah.
know, and of course we used to fish, you know, a lot. You know what I mean? We'd
Were there brook trout in the?
oh yeah.
Is there
And
a
I would-
name to the brook?
Not that I know of,
Okay.
really. You know, my mother used to fish. She used to, you know, and we ate them. You know, then you know, I mean, they were a meal for us. There'd be a warm afternoon, and she always wore a one of those old gray felt hats pulled on, you know, and she always wore an apron.
Right.
And whenever she went fishing, usually it was a whitish apron. She'd take her apron off, and she'd go to the river. And she'd say, go dig me some worms, going fishing, you know. And we'd dig her a can of worms, and she'd go down, and later on, we'd say, we'll go down and see if she's catching anything, you know.
Yeah.
We'd walk down. I don't remember whether it was more than me, I don't remember who went with me, but we'd go down, and we'd go up on the bridge, and where the brook ran into the river is where she'd stand in the altars there, which are
Okay.
gone now, you know. But she'd fish, and she'd go get me a few more worms, you know. And we'd have trout that night for
Right,
supper,
right.
you know.
Providing
Yeah,
for her family.
Yeah. And
That's-
she liked it, you know. She'd fish with worms. I don't know that my mother ever fly fished, you know,
Right.
because then, you know, you didn't. I don't know if it was that popular
Right,
that day as
right.
it was putting a worm in
And
there.
probably back then you didn't even need a fishing license, did you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where it was
Really?
on your own
Yeah,
property,
yeah,
you probably
yeah,
didn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
that,
I imagine getting away from a house full of children and going for an hour to fish on
Yeah.
a brook would be,
Right,
you know,
right, yeah.
her therapy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's wonderful. If you had to pick one, which of your siblings got into the most trouble when they were growing up?
Well, I don't know.
Well, then they didn't get in much trouble, right?
No, I don't remember, you know, really of any,
Yeah.
you know, no.
Well, it's. I was sitting here thinking about one boy and 8 sisters.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
that's
Well, I think maybe why my memory isn't quite so good, probably by the time I got grown up, the older sisters were gone. I mean, the
Right.
older ones were gone.
Right.
You know, they were out on their own.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
Thelma was, you know, Thelma, I don't know if you know the whole history. She graduated there from Farmington Normal School. And, you know, she taught school here in Coplin.
Oh, did she?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I went back.
I knew she was a school teacher, but I didn't
I went
realize.
back not too long ago, and I've got pictures and so on and so forth of her, and I thought, well, you know, when was she and Bob married, you know, and when was Donnie born, and when was twins born,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Kind of went through the history, you know, of it. Yeah, yeah.
So she taught in Coplin. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah, I knew she had been a teacher.
Yeah.
And there seems to be a lot of people of your generation who did teach.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
what better profession?
Yeah. Well, when Eldora moved, of course, they lived down there on Chesterville Hill. When she moved to Florida, she went in as a substitute teacher, and I didn't know that she ever really had the education for it. You know what I mean? But she did substitute, and she said she got more time than if she was probably a regular,
Right, a
you know.
licensed
Yeah,
teacher.
yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I met her just twice. I think she passed away right around the time Josie was born.
Really?
Josie
yeah.
was born in 95.
Yeah. See, that's what I don't have in that book. That's what Linda said to me, that birthday book. She said, Mom, when you're done with that, I want it.
Yeah. Well, and those are important things because we do forget,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. That's another thing about my father. He wrote a diary.
Nice. Nice.
And that's another thing I'd like to, you know, find out.
Right.
Linda Taylor, Jimmy's, you know, I'd like to find out, you know, there's different things in here, that is really interesting.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And written in handwriting, which is almost archaic now.
Now that's another thing. I don't know what year my father went to school, but he didn't have a very big education.
Right.
But if you just glance through a few of those, that's one of them there. This one here is 56 that he wrote.
His penmanship is beautiful. Wow.
What do I do with my glasses?
This is wonderful.
I've got 2 or 3 of them. And I'd like to sit down with Sylvia someday and go over some of them.
Yeah. This is, I like,
Can't
you
find
could...
my glasses.
They're on your head. Yes, they are.
I was going to show you this, too. I don't know if this is the one.
And that diary is precious. Tells you where he was every day.
Yeah.
On the road.
The story is, I don't know if you want to hear this now.
Sure.
But when I was born, my mother and father apparently was running out of names. So my mother changed her name from Harriet Ethel to Ethel Harriet. And there is proof of it right on that paper.
Word.
And that's my father's writing right there. And when they were born.
Harriet E., October 23rd, 1892. That's your mother's birthday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But
October 23rd is also your anniversary,
yes,
right? Okay.
Yes. How did they do that? How did they the story is, I've been told is that they ran out of names, and so she changed her name.
I don't know as they did it legally. I know my grandmother was named Elsie Ruth, and she hated the name Elsie, so she decided she was going to be Ruth E. And nobody ever knew her by Elsie, but I don't think she ever actually went to court and had her name changed, but she signed all her legal documents.
Same with
Ruth
my
E.
mother.
Yep, that's really
And I don't
neat.
know, it must have been the year that I was born, in 33, that she did it.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
So Effie May was your mother's sister?
Yeah.
And Herbert was her brother?
Yeah.
And Leon?
Yeah, Wyman.
And Jenny?
Yeah.
Jenny M. Jeannie. It looks like Gennie. Yeah, your father has beautiful penmanship.
I think that Jenny was probably... I think it was probably... what you said just Jenny E? I think
way at the top.
Yeah, I think Jenny. That was... that would have been, I think, my mother's mother.
Okay, your grandmother. Let me see if I can see
I don't remember or anything, but...
1866, so probably, yes.
Yeah. And my mother was born in...
Your mother was born in 1892. 66, 76, 80. That would make your grandmother like 26 when your mother was born.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love the name Effie May.
Yeah.
Very old-fashioned.
Do you know any of the Scribners?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Margaret worked. Well, because Margaret married a Scribner, but she worked for Dad for years, and he absolutely adored her. Absolutely. Yeah. And she could put him in his place, too.
Yeah.
Was one of the few women he didn't boss around.
Yeah. Well, see, Margaret and Leo, I worked for them up on Sugarloaf.
Did you?
Yeah. At the Shush Cafe. Yeah.
I was just talking about the Shush Cafe, which doesn't exist anymore, of course. Boy.
Did you know... I'm probably getting away from it here.
No,
Defoe,
whatever. Gardner?
Defoe?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, they're having his memorial service.
When is that?
I think it's next Sunday.
Yes, that was a shock to
1
read.
p.m. at
next
Tea
Sunday.
Room. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to be in Boston. My niece is having a baby, and they've got a baby shower. So my sister Chris is going to be a grandma.
Oh.
She's much, much, much older than I am.
Yeah. Well, I wrote it on there because I knew God. I think Gardner and I'm trying to think of the other guys down there. They were head of the touring center. More or less ran it when I first started work there. And I always liked Gardner. He always wanted to give me a hug.
Yeah, Gardner was one of a kind.
Yeah. Linda said she'd drive me up. And I said it would be a good time but then some of the people like Nickerson, Groovy Garbages and everything, some of them people are already gone.
Yeah, yeah. It is, it's the one thing we can't escape, I guess. I try to as long as we can.
Death and taxes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Do you have a phobia? Anything that scares you?
I'm trying to think.
I know, like Stephen. Lightning.
I hate thunder showers. I do. I hate thunder showers. And apparently we're going to get one Monday. If we aren't working, when it comes, I see it coming, I go out the truck and sit.
Do you really?
Yeah. It struck here 2 or 3 different times. Yeah. We used to have a big pine tree down there where that apple tree is next to the road. We had a swing in it. It was a chain swing. And my father, or whoever put it up, had the burlap around the tree so it wouldn't, and it struck the tree and the burlap caught fire. The tree didn't totally burn. And then we had that old BX cabling, for electric. You know what it is? We had it in the barn.
Right.
And it struck the barn.
Tube and...
Yeah, it struck the barn once and there was fire and hay there. You can see the inside of the door there where it burned. Luckily, and Scott told me the other day, he was here the day that burned. I didn't remember it, but because the phone on the wall, the old crank phones, knocked the phone out, couldn't call the fire department. But there were enough people here, and at the time we had water in the cellar for the cattle. We had some pails of water, and with the people, they threw the hay outdoors and put the water to it, didn't burn.
Wow, that's really
but
amazing.
I do, like a thunder showers is my...
Now, if somebody's here with you, will you stay in the house?
I'd have to probably stay with them.
Just a matter of pride.
It's all right,
Well, I guess, that's something that certainly is worthy of being scared of.
Oh, yeah.
I know, if I asked Stephen, he would say snakes, probably. My grandfather with spiders, but lightning is a little more frightening, I guess. I love a good thunderstorm.
Yeah.
But I also want to know that my kids are all inside and safe and away from the outlets and not on the phone.
Yeah. Well, there are some times when I sit on the couch if I don't think it's going to be too bad. I don't go near. I'm like you. Don't go near the faucets. Don't. Yeah.
What about how you met Basil and your first date or your first get together?
Well, it was my first year working out, and I was at Saddleback Lake Lodge, and I waited on tables, and he and another guy by the name of Jack Walden came up there. Monette, who ran Saddleback Lake Lodge, had a stove he wanted to sell, a giveaway, and Jack was his nephew, and so he told him he could have it for his camp down there in Sandy River. So the boys came in, and Monette introduced him to us or whatever, and we were finishing up the tables after dinner, putting the glasses on and so on and so forth. And after they went out, Basil said to Jack, "Do those girls date?" And Jack says, "I imagine so." And he said, "Well, the blonde is mine." And I was the blonde.
You were the blonde.
So after that, we started dating or whatever. And as years went on, and if Basil ever said anything, you wanted the blonde, you got her, you're stuck with her.
That's right. That's right. Be careful what you wish for.
And we were married for 63 years.
63 years. Yeah. That is
and
amazing.
People ask me, different ones, well, how did you manage that? How did you stand it, And I would say, well, the road wasn't always paved. There was a few bumps in it. And you got over the bumps, and
Yep.
carried on.
That's right.
You want some more hot coffee?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I actually like it when it's cooled off, but no, I'm
I do.
fine.
I put in a half a cup of coffee and the rest water. I
There you
got to
go.
dilute mine.
Yep.
I perk it on the stove, and sometimes I forget it, and it perks too much.
It gets a little heavy there, does it?
I don't drink a lot of coffee. I mean, that I may eat a muffin later. I have to take my pills, and I don't take them unless I have
Something in your belly.
something in my stomach.
Yeah. How about temper? Do you have a temper?
Yeah, I guess so.
Can you think of one specific instance where you really lost it?
Well, I don't know as I really lost it, but sometimes I can't, either open jazz or something like that. I don't know as I should tell you what I say.
Well, that's the fun of editing. I get to keep the real deal, but we cut that out.
I'll say, "Oh, you bastard."
Yeah. Isn't it funny how I keep scissors everywhere now because I can't open things. Some of the plastic bags and whatever.
I know.
My fingers hurt and I can't pull it apart.
You have arthritis?
So yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, see, I do too, but mine hasn't. Jeannie will look at my hands, and she knows what I do, cleaning and gardening and everything, and she say, "Mom, don't your hands hurt?" I have this one finger, trigger finger, and when I peel a lot or use it, that thing will go down and touch there, and it's really the last time it happened. Oh my God, am I going to be able to get it back?
Yeah.
But my hands never ache.
That's good. That's good because you have always used your hands.
Yeah.
You have,
and I don't think that as far as the arthritis in them, I don't think it has grown in the bones. I mean, any more than I hurt my back up on Sugarloaf when I was cleaning up there, and I was on a nail keg. Those old the nails used to come in barrels, like a nail barrel,
Okay.
And I was washing, and I used to work for Susan Mason up on the mountain, and I got up on that keg to wash off the top of a refrigerator, whatever, wipe it off, and the damn keg split, and I fell back, and there was a kind of like a bar behind me, and I kind of hit that and went down on the floor. And, oh my God, it hit my tail spine. I came home, and Basil said, "You better go have that x-rayed. Now I got to work for Margaret and Leo in the cafe tomorrow." During the noontime, she'd asked me to come in, and I'll come in. So I went that day, and then the next day when I went to Dr. Brinkman, do you remember Dr. Brinkman?
I do.
He gave me an exam, and I don't know if they x-rayed or not, but he said, there's nothing there at the spine. You got a good bump, but he said, Harriet, you got arthritis. Someday you're going to be in a wheelchair. I said, when I can't walk, creep or crawl, and it don't. Well, once in a while now it bothers me, back in the morning when I get up. But I get up and go. I very seldom take. If I take a Tylenol, it's a half of a 325.
Nice.
I don't take a lot.
That's good.
A whole one probably I'd be out the rest of the afternoon.
Right.
I mean, I'm not used to it.
Well, it's good that you're healthy.
Yeah.
And you still work?
Yeah.
You said you're cleaning cabins in Aquasic?
Yeah. Aquasic Angling Association. They're going to celebrate their 150th year there this year.
Wow.
I don't know exactly all that they're going to do, but they're going to have a picnic in August.
That's
and
neat.
There will be quite a few people around. And
Linda
and I'll do their meal for them.
Now, I know you've done some catering in the past.
Yeah.
Was that a job or just something that you've done on your own? Or did you work for someone to cater?
They had contacted me, to do it, different weddings and so on and so forth. We've done, we did 2 weddings out there. I catered, at the club. And I did one for a guy that used to live in the Bigelow, down as you go down Sugarloaf, on the left there before you come to the bridge right by Sugarloaf turn, there's a house there, and it says Bigelow.
Yeah, the old Bigelow station, isn't that what that's?
Yes. I've got a picture here of that way back, and I think there's a horse there or something in a carriage, and I keep saying I'm going to go down there some weekend when I think that but I catered for a guy that did live there or stay there. and Linda and I cannot think of his name.
Oh.
Isn't that awful?
Oh, well, no.
And I have no paperwork on it,
Yeah.
but we did it up on Sugarloaf.
Nice.
And
Nice.
and they wanted a corn chowder with carrots in it. First time I'd ever heard of that. Was one thing. I've got pictures of it.
I bet it was pretty.
I don't have any pictures of the guy or anything.
Well, I remember for Thelma's 85th birthday party, we had that at the farm, at our farm, and you brought some goodies and set them out on this lovely tiered thing, and I have a photo of Josie about to steal one. We told her not to touch anything, and that must have been, let's see, I'm going to say 97 maybe, when she turned 85.
We'd have to look.
We'd have to look. But anyways, she was like 2.5.
Yeah.
And it's the cutest picture of her. She doesn't think anyone's looking, and I took the picture, and she just jumped. But that was beautiful, and it was obviously very irresistible.
Yeah. Well, to carry on the conversation, in my attic upstairs, just you go upstairs, it's never been finished off. It's just an open attic, and then I have the 2 rooms. And I've got stuff there that I'd like to get rid of. But, if I do, then the next day, do you still have that, Mom? And I do have a lot of dishes and stuff that we use for catering, or whatever. Gregory calls it Grandma's Walmart attic or something like that,
If they need it, you've got it somewhere.
Yeah. And whenever they ask me, if you don't ask me for an elephant, I might be able to find it.
Right? Is it an easy access to the attic?
Oh, those
stairs right there, so it's not like you have to go.
There's one room on this side, and then the room here where the heat goes up when we need it,
Yeah.
The one room there, Linda and I finished that room off finally, and I keep it for my guest room whenever I have, and it's nice. But the other one we need to redo. Right. But I've just done the barn, as you know, $34,000 I put into that barn, Karen. Wow. I worked my ass off to get the money to do it, And then I had to get a loan and said, you're not going to have enough, Mom. Don't draw your account down too far. Yeah. And so I got a loan, an equity loan. Mm-hmm. I got it pretty near paid off.
Good. It's beautiful.
But then, I had Lee, let the goddamn thing fall down.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's part of the farm.
And it's part of your life. And I bet there are your children and your grandchildren who have memories in there.
Oh, yeah. Not only my children, but children from town.
Sure.
Sure. That used to come out here.
Right. Well, and you feed deer, which I think probably, I actually looked online and found a couple of stories in the paper about it. Yeah. But that, I'm sure, has drawn people from near and far.
Take those out for you if you think of anybody you want to give them to. We're going to change these because it says December through April. And when the 1st of April came, a lady called me, you're still feeding the deer, it's April. And we still had 200 deer, Karen.
Wow. It was a late winter.
We feed them till they're gone.
Yeah.
And I'm still feeding them a little bit down back. I had 6 the other night.
Wow.
It's just not feeding them. We have to go get the grain. We have to get it in there. And Linda usually does it with a trailer. She never take any money. She feeds her deer out of there too, And then 3 o'clock every day.
Yeah, it's like having a child, right?
We do it. People ask us, you do it when there's snowstorm? Yeah, rain, and how long you going to feed them? We feed them till they're gone,
right.
And we do. And people ask me about, does the biologist game on? Yeah, they don't like it. You shouldn't feed them whole corn. It's going to kill them. But 17 ton they ate here last year. And do you see any dead deer out there?
They kept coming back, huh? 17 tons.
Yeah.
Wow.
We got part of one bag still downstairs, but we get it by the ton. She hauls it.
So you don't have somebody deliver it?
No.
That's a lot of work.
It's Basil's Yeah, it'd be Basil's nephew, really, that grows it there.
Okay.
Michael Fairbanks.
Okay.
He's out as you Mile Hill as you go out of New Sharon going towards Augusta.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he lives there, but he does it along. I think it's actually in New Sharon that he grows it. You know, I've never been to the fields, but I told Linda some year when he is harvesting it, I'd like to go. You know,
Yeah.
but last year, the damn snow in October. And he had left it so it would dry on the stalk.
Right.
And then the snowstorm came, and after the snow was gone, it was so wet he couldn't get in the field. So it was late before we could get it, you know, and get it in. Linda likes to get it in the trailer and, you know, and have it there. But we made out all right. It worked out. Cost quite a lot of money. We do get some donations, but we continue to do it. It really got expensive, and we figured they really didn't need it, you know, and and we ring the bell. You know, we got a bell in the barn.
Nice.
And years ago, Basil used to do it by hand. He'd walk out and stretch the corn out, you know, and. Blaine Holden, when he was game warden, he drove in one night. And then he backed up to the barn there, and Basil was out there feeding him. And I thought, oh boy, what the hell now, you know.
Right.
But when Basil got done, come up towards the house, Blaine got out, and he said to Basil, he said, you put that grain out well so that they all can get some. And Basil said, yeah, you know, he said, I try to. And I don't know if this is going to be on video or not, but Blaine got in his truck and took out his billfold, and he gave Basil $5 donation. And I thought and he comes out here quite often. Linda says now, sometimes people come and they know me and they'll come in, you know, and visit and look at the pictures and look at the horns. Have you ever seen the horns? I'll lift that up so you can see them. But anyway, you know, Linda says she sees him out here once in a while, you know, during the winter, you know, to see the deer or whatever. But
it's nice to be able to.
Like used to be Clayton, Bryce Clayton.
Bryce Clayton,
you know,
yes.
used to be. And I mean, God, years ago, you know, when they were out patrolling for the night or whatever, you know, they'd stop in, we'd have coffee, apple pie, you know. And it's just like with the damn border patrol, you know. Have a little bit of a drug problem around here, you know, and they go up by once in a while. And I say to Linda, you know, if they've got a concern, you know,
stop at the house and talk to people.
What harm, you know, would it be to stop in, you know, and just until something happens?
It's a scary world.
Oh yeah.
And having young people in it, you know, is frightening.
Well, that's one thing I can be thankful for. I believe, you know, that you know, Basil's oldest boy there, he's in Florida. He works at a golf course, and he's told his mother, you know, people have said, he said used to be some old women come in there ask him to caddy for them, you know, we want Basil, they'd say. And, you know, they have, you know, well, I say they don't have tattoos. I think Basil has one on his leg he got years and years ago. But, you know, he's straightforward. He knows how to work, you know, and he does work. James is the same way, working in that mill down there, the hours that he works, you know. Rosie, she's at the bank. She just took a test yesterday. Now she's a certified teller.
Wonderful.
Linda showed me the picture of the flowers that the boss sent in to her.
Nice.
You know?
That's very nice.
You know, and Janine, she's working at the hospital in Farmington, travels from Dallas down there. You know, she's working this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. She works 3 days, you know. 7 till 7.
It's
you know,
really
it's how they're brought up.
I certainly think that has a lot to do with it. Absolutely.
Jared there from Dallas.
Yeah.
They offered him, I forget how many millions of euros to go over there in Bermuda and build that boat.
Wow.
But he got into composites down there in Eastport when he went to school there, and he loves it. You know.
And he started his interest in that from going to the foster tech program.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's fabulous.
Yeah.
I know a couple of kids who've graduated from Mount Abram who took the composites.
Yeah.
And I am 100% in favor of teaching kids trades again.
Yeah.
You know, we've gotten out of the shop classes and the drafting and the even the home ec.
Yes, that's another thing that, you know, they used to teach in school, home economics, you know. Yeah. They just had a play there in town, and the arts teacher, and I don't know who she is there, but she said her name. But anyway, the kids they had this. I don't know if it was home economics, whatever, but they brought in clothes and they remodeled them.
Wonderful
Then they took
skill.
some the plastic wrap from Stratton Lumber. They wrapped their boards with or whatever, and they made handbags out of them.
Out of the tarps for the lumber.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was.
That's wonderful.
It was nice. Yeah.
I'm actually saving our dog food and cat food bags for a woman who makes shopping bags out of them.
Really?
Yeah.
They're going to have to, aren't they?
Well, they may. They may. I hate to see laws passed about it. I think the government is big enough without telling us that, but I would love to see people make the choice of using cloth bags whenever they can.
I have all. I think probably I bought the first ones Hannaford ever put out.
Yeah, me too.
And I always take them because they're so much easier. When I shop, and I always take them when I go to Farmington. I don't always take them to the local store here if I have to.
I'm kind of the opposite. I always remember to take them into Tranton's, but I get all the way to the checkout counter at Walmart before I'm like, oh man, I left my bags in the truck. I think it's probably because I'm never by myself in Farmington. I'm always chatting with Stephen or whatever if we go to the store. So my mind isn't on it.
Yeah.
But
you shop a lot at Trenton's?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. That's Stephen comes by there every night.
Yeah.
So that's where we get all the oops, I forgot groceries.
Oh yeah.
When we're doing big grocery shopping, it's usually Hannaford.
Yeah.
But we don't do a lot of that now that the kids are grown.
No. Well, that's the way with me. We go usually once every 2 weeks or something, and Linda has to have stuff because they drink Pepsi and that, and she, it's cheaper than,
Absolutely.
And so we usually go, and I have a list started, and I just went last week, but I always keep a good supply of stuff on hand, because I had one guy here I sold one of the tractors to, and he came, and he said, oh, you really, I don't know where he came from, I can't remember now, but he said, you really live out in the boonies, and yeah, we like it, and he said, what do you do when you want a loaf of bread? I said, I bake it. Oh, okay, like that.
Yeah. I've told people, it's for me, a gallon of milk is a 15-mile round trip. So you have to, pair of pantyhose is almost 80 miles. So you have to plan ahead, And
milk is my big thing, too, because I usually get about a half a gallon at a time, but Linda will always pick it up for me, if I need it, They say you can freeze it, but,
I've never tried.
No, I don't. I never have either.
We buy milk when we know Eli's coming home because he likes cereal.
Yeah.
And not so much now as he used to, but we can buy a quart and end up throwing most of it away because we don't drink it, and I don't do that much cooking anymore.
I do drink it. I try to drink. Well, I take milk when we work, and we have cereal. I have some cereal I take when we work out, and I most always eat cereal. I love hot cereal, cream of rice or oatmeal in the wintertime, but. I do try to drink, a glass of milk at night. I try to, and a cookie or something like that, a little bit of sweet stuff. But, and cooking, too, if I know I'm going to cook, Yeah. In fact, this morning, I got just a little bit of milk left there, and I don't want to use that in case Karen uses it.
Oh, no.
So I took some cream and added a little bit of water. So I don't know how their muffins will be.
I'll happily eat my muffin without milk. That's... in fact, I can still smell them. That's a wonderful smell. All right. Well, I'm going to turn this off. Thank you so much for your hospitality. And always, you're a fun visit.